Mykelti and Tony had her brother Paedon on their Patreon for a sit-down interview, and they discussed a lot. Understandably, Tony made it known that they would not be addressing Paedon and Gwen's rift, but they discussed a bunch of questions submitted by their Patreon subscribers. One question was about that interview. Yes, that interview. And we are going to talk about what Paedon had to say about it in this video. Let's discuss. Hey everyone, what's up? It's Sarah and welcome back to my channel. This video is going to be voiceover commentary, but don't worry, I will be back in front of the camera for my next video. And as you guys probably noticed, my intro has changed some. I had to commission a new intro because the music in my last intro got copyright claimed, so I just thought, let's start from scratch. I know a bunch of you guys loved the old music. I did too, but such is life and we just have to roll with the punches. We all remember that John Yates interview that Paedon did, right? It was 3 hours long. They covered a range of topics, and Paedon probably said more and got a little messier than his family would have liked. After the interview, Paedon went quiet on his socials. He's most active on TikTok, and he really took some time off, which is not surprising. Gwen said she was going to post a reaction video to Paedon's interview, but she ended up posting a short video to her Patreon where she says she hopes people don't really pay much attention to what Paedon has to say. And she said that he is one of the worst people she's ever had the displeasure of knowing. And that was pretty much it. Needless to say, I don't think Gwen and Paedon will be patching things up anytime soon. My heart really goes out to Christine. I can't imagine how difficult it would be to have two of your kids at such odds with each other. Over on their Patreon, Mykelti and Tony have been interviewing a lot of Mykelti's siblings. They have had Isabel, Aspen, and Aspen's husband Mitch on, and I've really enjoyed these videos in which we've gotten to know the kids of the Brown family a little better. I was very surprised to see an alert pop up in my feed notifying me that they did an interview with Paedon. I won't say Paedon was outright messy in his John Yates interview, but he really didn't hold back very much, if at all. I think this was a good decision for Paedon to dip his toe back into talking about the show since he is with his sister, he's amongst family, and I have no doubt that Christine had an influence in the structure of the discussion and what questions were okay to talk about, etc. I don't play clips from Mykelti and Tony's Patreon because that content is behind a paywall. Not only do I find it unethical to distribute content that's behind a paywall, but I think it also goes against the terms of service of Patreon when you subscribe to a creator. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong on that. What we can do is summarize what was said and discuss that, and that we shall do. So Tony starts off right off the bat saying he made it known that they would not be asking Paedon any questions about his and Gwen's relationship. Tony said that some people weren't happy about that, but that's the decision that they made. He goes on to say that they hope one day they can have Paedon and Gwen at the same family functions. Paedon says he wishes that too. He wishes he could give Gwen a hug, and he thinks that she's a wonderful sister. So we will just leave it at that. So the question that was submitted that Tony asked was, do you know how your parents felt about your very popular, or he might have said unpopular, I couldn't really tell there, long interview you had? Here's what was said. Paedon says he has a vague idea how one parent felt about it and a really good idea how two others felt about it. He says Janelle wasn't happy about it, but she's fine. He says his mom really wasn't happy about it, but she's fine. He says Cody called him 5 or 6 times after having not attempted to call him in almost a year, and Paedon ended up blocking him. And he said he still has Cody blocked. Mykelti asked if he wanted to know how she felt. She says she was not happy about it, but it's over and done with, and it's just out there on the internet forever. Apparently, nobody in the family was really happy with the interview. Paedon says that he was a little intoxicated and social situations charge his battery. Paedon also says that these people were saying nice things about him and that boosts his ego. And Mykelti said that they were doing that on purpose. And that was pretty much the answer to that question. In his interview with John Yates, Paedon called out Mykelti specifically as being a victim of Mary's mistreatment. Mykelti herself has only ever said that she doesn't have a good relationship with Mary, and she hasn't really gone into much detail, which is her prerogative to decide how much or how little she wants to talk about her history with Mary. Paedon is very close with his brothers. He specifically calls out Garrison as being his best friend. He is often photographed with all of Janelle's sons, and Janelle actually just posted a photo from Garrison's birthday a few days ago in which Paedon is present for the celebration. Paedon has said he considers Janelle a mom, so it makes sense that Janelle would feel comfortable enough with Paedon to voice her displeasure with that interview. I think it also gives us insight into why we haven't heard very much from Janelle's kids. My guess is Janelle has likely asked them to just not be vocal on their socials. On the other hand, Christine has famously advocated for her kids' ability to say what they want after Cody tried to get TLC to silence his kids. But of course, there are lines and limits, and Paedon clearly crossed the line in this interview. I think Christine is fine with her kids sharing their stories, but 3 hours with little direction for the interview, and the intent was clearly to get some bombshell quotes from Paedon. It seems like Christine and the rest of the family felt that Paedon fell right into a trap, so to speak. Also, knowing now that Paedon was intoxicated during the interview probably just added to Christine's disappointment. I'm happy to know that ultimately Christine, Janelle, and the majority of the family are not really holding it against him. My guess is the family echoes the same sentiment that Mykelti said, which was that they were intentionally buttering Paedon up to get him to spill all the tea. And it worked. If I was Paedon, I'd probably block Cody too, if I'm going to be honest. You don't hear from your dad in almost a year, and now he's blowing up your phone to undoubtedly yell at you. Yeah, it would be a hard pass for me too. Let me know your guys' thoughts on what Paedon had to say about his interview with John Yates. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to my channel, follow me on Instagram and Twitter at realiteasquad, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Take care. Have a good one. Much love.